Okay, so I'm starting this video. I live in Australia, and I make this video for myself because it's a way of getting things off your chest, as they say. Any rate, not to ramble, I'm just trying to show, under difficult circumstances, because this is the end of this world, because it is the end of the human race. So it's not like the end of the earth, it's the end of humankind. And even that I cannot say clearly, because I am in this situation where I'm aware of only a small amount of my own mind and even the reality that's around me. So everything I'm saying is just what comes to me. So I will be not getting the whole story. I'll be like picking up bits of a fairy tale, but not who made the fairy tale, not where the fairy tale come from, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this even, because I'm not quite 100% sure of what I'm saying. I'm aware of things in my own mind, but that's only as much as what I'm allowed to receive, or as much as I seek out, or as much as what they term opening your mind to what is around you, and to looking at your own experiences very closely. In other words, going over and over in your mind 24 hours a day, your relationships, your interactions, your environment, analysing it, studying it endlessly, over and over again, repeating it to yourself, trying to fathom out what sense it makes for you and for the earth too, because if you become aware that you're in a controlled environment, then you have to look at the bigger picture, whether you like it or not. You shouldn't have to, but you do have to if you become aware that you are in an environment around you where everyone is watching, trying to control, trying to manipulate your mind, your movements, your whole perception of reality. In other words, they're trying to take your natural free autonomy in when even you go outside your front door from you, so that I'm sorry about that going all over the place, but I'm closing my eyes while I'm making this video to try to concentrate. So unfortunately, I've lost sight of the reality that I'm also got the mobile up and filming. But I was just going to make a point or a record for myself, even though I don't need to do it for myself. It's just a problem shared is a problem halved, as that old saying goes. And there is some truth to that, even though I may only be sharing it with myself, but there's always that remote possibility that someone else might also share that problem with you. Because if you can't find that interaction or that relationship in reality. And really it has to be a relationship, because an interaction is like with acquaintances or people around you. You may or may not see them a lot, like you see the people in your neighbourhood a lot, but you don't know them at all. And that is probably just as well, because if you could read their mind the way they read yours, you know, you would be living in even more fear than what you are. But you don't need to read their mind, because you will know them by their fruits, as the saying goes, and that means by their secret, covert, sneaky actions behind your back, and even the hints that they drop, or the vibes, as they say, that you pick up while you interact with them. You may dismiss those vibes because it's unpleasant, so you want to pretend that people are not a negative android being operating against you. But that's where you are delusional if you don't realise that, even though it sounds delusional to say that this is the case. But at any rate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to make some points here to myself, but also to some unknown person, wherever they may be. These here are what I have picked up off the street over the last maybe 2 months, where people just drop things around on the street and I pick them up. Now, why would I, at my age, into old age, what you would call, or at least what I would call old age chronologically, pick up these things? And that is something that I can't even explain, but it's something that annoys the android beings of the Matrix, even though they also may deliberately leave them there so that you pick them up, because, you know, they will have many motives and reasons why they do things, and they will know that I will not be able to walk past the bird that's, you know, that's on the footpath, or if there is a cute object, it's almost as though I see or feel some life in it. So I pick it up and bring it home. I would prefer to give it to someone, actually, but I don't have any people to give it to. But I feel I don't like to leave things to where I know they'll be put into the garbage tin and destroyed. If they have a resemblance to life, even though I know these things are not life. They're just material made things. And look how dirty and old that is. It looks as though it's been much loved. And it was just left when I came out of the shop, you know, in the middle of the ground. And this thing here, see this horse thing here also, I'm going to make this point here while I make this video. This is this horse thing here, this plastic horse that's a bit dilapidated. Obviously I put the tea cozy on its head because I'm silly. You see, that's another thing that annoys people around. They don't like silly antics of human beings, and I just can't help it. And yes, there is a koala bear sitting on the back of it. This I acquired also about a year or two ago, but I like koala bears because they're the native animal of Australia. The kangaroo and the koala bear are the two so-called native animals, which I'm pretty sure are extinct anyway, even though they say that they are the native animals of this country. In other words, when I say close to extinction, in other words, whereas they used to be everywhere, the same with the kangaroos, I think that the reality is that that is the mind game that is played against the human beings to save species, to save the earth, all this sort of stuff, which actually is not true because it is already pretty much gone. The same as I was saying, the human race is only in small numbers. Now look, This is also something that I'll have to try to explain when I say the human race, because I could have this wrong. See, I have to use words to explain what I'm receiving or what I'm getting, but because I don't have all the information, and I'm largely in the dark, even though I think that I'm pretty awake to things, I'm still actually quite a lot in the dark. So when I say the human race, when I say it, I just mean anyone in human form that is in this earth, or that anyone, when I say human being, and most people would probably understand this and agree with it, or at least think the same way. When I say human race, I mean any human being, anyone in human form that has the ability to experience a positive, happy human emotion, feeling, or vibration, and give that frequency out also. In other words, like when you say you have the happy vibe, you will then pass that happy vibe on to someone else if they are a real human, and they will feel happy too. Usually that's how it works. We even know this. We've known this since the day we were born anyway. It's just that it's a bigger picture because it affects everything. But also you must realise that most of what around you is not a happy vibe. Most around you are human beings. Human beings, no, that's incorrect. They are beings in human form that do not experience a happy vibe and find the happy vibe of a human being destructive to their mental state, destructive to their vibe, which is essentially an anti-life, unhappy vibe. A dead, dark being enjoys the dead, dark vibration, the low vibration. Human beings like to experience the high vibration. They will be prevented from doing this by being surrounded, like myself, by essentially dead, dark, low vibrational, negative android beings. But at any rate, I shall get back to the horse here while I'm on it. This is just to show, seeing I'm here, and I brought this inside. This used to be out the front. I used to have it out in the front, little patch out the front there. But I'm just going to tell you the story of this little horse, not because it's that interesting or it's a big deal, because I did not really want this plastic horse, and I certainly didn't buy it or require it. What happened was this, okay? This actual plastic horse belonged to the neighbour, okay? It was in their front for years. And I thought maybe they like horse racing because I saw it there when I walked past. It was there for years. Then one day, yes, I plonked that koala bear on the back of it. That was only because I acquired that also, but I didn't even particularly like it because it's cheap. But I wouldn't throw it out also, because I got a good feeling about it, even though some stuffed animals are better made than others, so they have a more real look to them, so that is more appealing, naturally, But at any rate, this better do this quick before I run out of space, because I want to show some little videos as well, if I can, because otherwise the videos even bore me. Now, see that horse? It was out the front in the neighbour's place for years and years, okay? And they left it there. It was an ornament, in other words, many of the ornaments that they would have had. One day, they chucked it in their garbage tin. you know, after years, as if to say, don't like it anymore, it's been there for years, they might have replaced it with something else. They plonked it in their garbage tin. And I went out there on garbage night when I was putting my garbage, and I saw this horse sticking out of the top of their garbage tin. And I thought, oh, I don't like that being thrown in and crushed to bits in the garbage. So I took it out the garbage, cleaned it up a bit, and plonked it in my front. And it was there for about a year or two, just left in the front, in amongst the weeds and stuff. But then, one day, one of the neighbours, I'm not sure if it was the neighbour that actually owned this horse, because like I say, they're all connected more or less, took it out of my front and threw it back into the garbage. Because I wondered where it had went. I knew that it had gone when I went out there in the daytime. But then when the garbage bins went out, because they assumed that I wouldn't go out there and see the garbage tins just before the garbage truck came. But once again, they had took it from my front after it had been there for like a year or two, the same horse, and plonked it in the garbage, as if to say, you can't, even though it's been in your front now for a thing and we didn't want it anyway, we're throwing it back in the garbage. And of course I took it back out, but I brought it inside. I didn't put it back out the front, and that way no one ever sees it and they assume it's just gone with the garbage, as you can see. So because I don't really want to have it inside, but not that I care, but I just thought it was, I only took it, I don't even know why I retrieved it from the bin in the first place. But all I'm saying is that's the mindset of the neighbours around here, the android beings. That they didn't want it, they threw it away and left it, and I plonked it in my front just because I thought, oh well, I suppose I thought it looked okay to plonk it like they had, just in the front. In fact, it might have looked better in my front than in theirs, because it was amongst the weeds, so it looked like a horse running through it. Maybe they saw that and eventually it got to them, you see. But essentially they're just negative beings, you see. This is my point. That's the only reason I mention this. So now I just leave it inside here, even though I could have let it. It's only plastic, I know, and it's just, and I'm not into horse racing or anything, but of course I do tend to like images of animals. That's just because I don't know why that is, to be honest, but either way, I was making a point about the mindset of people around. It's petty. It seems silly, but it's showing you in a way the petty negative thoughts of people around, you see. Did I make sense with that? I don't know if I made sense, but you know, I don't know if I even made sense with that. We don't have, yes, the cat also was taken from me. And I say taken because I don't believe in anything random happening. Yes, sometimes we contribute. You have to acknowledge that you yourself fall down and are not always able to cope with things well. But you don't have an intentional negative thought. That's about the only thing that I can say in my rationalisation for some of my where I feel that I've let myself and let the animals down and let myself down, basically, in a way. But that's because, you know, when you are at, you know, like if you're out of energy, like it's a lot of energy for me to even just talk into this mobile now, and I feel very hot. All I'm saying is that it takes a lot of energy to live when you are literally surrounded by negative people daily, where there is a literal patrol program around you, using your senses against you, so that you know, cannot walk outside and feel free as though you're in a random natural world. And I've lost track of the reality that I started with, the seriousness that yes, it's not just the animals that are close to extinction, even low, the same as the human race. The pretense is that we have billions of human beings and that we still have some species. Of course, we, in order to get, human beings focused on the earth under the illusion that it's a natural random earth, they will play on the human motions even with some species saying they are extinct. But all that is just a mind control game. Even though there is truth to much of it, it's still a mind control game to where human beings don't realise that it's all deliberate and that it is all planned and that it is all staged, and that there's not a real lot you can do about a lot of these things. You can expand a lot of time and energy, like me talking about it now, and it won't change anything. Not unless the human beings combine with a higher frequency. That gives the artificial android God and its disciples less control. But while you are focused in anger even on saving the species, as opposed to saving yourself and your own species, which is what I would call the humankind, even though that may not be totally correct in the word element. You know, I'm saying what I think is the human being, but it may still be an incorrect term. I may have the terminology or the words wrong. You have to use words to express yourself, to express yourself. And, another person that is more intellectual and more in the know about more of the reality might understand the different beings and different species more correctly than me. So I keep it simple because that's the best I can do. That's the best of my knowledge at this moment in time, shall we say. Okay, so I'm going to... I wasted a bit of time there on the horse thing. I'm sorry about that. And so I'll it's dark now, so it's quiet, so I can make this video without like really strong negative mechanical noises going on, because I've already mentioned the Android technical machinery game that's being played around here in this area, around real people, around myself anyway. That's really all I can say. Now, okay, so I mentioned that the demigods show their duality nature at a physical level. If you look closely, if you just look at, say, the small part of I could show the videos, I've tried to, but I'm not doing very well. You will see, I'm not sure if I'm getting this. If you look just at, say, a small part of the face, you will not really, don't forget that, like the differences in the different, the two different types of humans. When I say, I'm saying the two that come together to create life, you will only be able to, and don't forget that we have a lot of physical manipulation of the human body these days, even more than ever. So it's very hard to determine. But what I'm saying is that if you look at some individual features and the larger than life face, of most of the demigods, and this is also true of people in reality, in other words, that are not demigods. What I call demigods are like your famous, well-known, or those that are successful on any screen, shall we say, where you don't meet them face to face. But even in face-to-face interactions or people that pass you on the street, the androids that patrol and try to control you, they're all part of the system. These are just the ones that control through the computer screen, the demigods or your music artists, your actors, anyone that goes onto the computer, whatever they're talking about, whatever they're promoting, whatever they're on there for, most of them are on there to seduce a real human, depending on what your interests are. Some may be more academic in their interest, others may, and everyone tends to like the entertainment aspect, like music and films and things like that, and most people want to know what's going on in the world stage at a power level. In other words, who is controlling their city or their town or their local area. These are people that you give power to consciously, so they also are your players. But what you aren't told is that it is a collaborative effort by everyone, and this is so that you are not aware that you are playing in a mind control reality, or what some people call a matrix, because a matrix is a controlled earth or a controlled environment around you. It may not even be the full earth, because they center around the real life to control them and manipulate them to get their thoughts and all their ideas through technology onto the screen. All this that you see here is not what you think it is. The demigods are the human representations of the best of human thought at, say, an entertainment level, if you're looking at, say, the music artists, okay? And, then you have the academic ones, or the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the philosophers, all sorts. It depends on what, and then you might just be on there looking for something to buy or something to use. Or you might be looking to know what is going on in the world. There might be a million reasons why you come onto the screens to find out, what is, to find what interests you, what your needs are, what your interests are. It will depend on your level of, just your interests, your whatever. It doesn't matter. But whichever way you look at it, I might come on here thinking, oh, well, look, if I'm looking at a more world level now, I might think, oh, well, I'm under the delusion that I'm using the technology to enlighten myself, whereas in reality, the technology is seducing me to watching it, even if it's telling me the truth, which it is. It's reflecting back the truth from my own mind or from another real human being's mind, because it is downloaded directly onto the computer and then spoken through the mouths of the demigods or anyone or anything that is on the screen. The demigods are merely the elite of those that are on the screen, because they might be very well known. In other words, they're famous, or they're well known, or they make a lot of money, or and you will have, like, degrees of how successful, you could say, on the screen you are, in other words, at a screen level. It's all contrived and not real, but we buy into it and we think it is real. And we believe that the trick of it is that we believe that these people that are on here are what they appear to be, when they aren't. They are merely stealers of human thought and idea, because the demigods are android artificial beings like the technical God. They don't think positive things. Of course, they're aware, those at the top probably would be aware of the real situation. So it's just that they are trying to manipulate the human thought. Even if it's like me now. Here I am. I'm so clever, aren't I? Because I'm talking about all this, and yet I've got the screen up in front of me, and I'm using the very things that I'm talking about to make some sort of point to myself. So game over once again to me, or a human being, and, around to the control matrix. You see, if I was, if I wanted to put it, that is really so, so I can say what I like, and it means nothing, because everything is pretty much used, against the, for some reason I seem to have lost the pictures of those videos, so they might not want me to film those. So they're doing that because they knew I was looking for a particular video. See, even this TV is a bit being manipulated, because I can't find the video. Hold on, I'll just hold it here while I try to find the one that I was going to show. Maybe they want me to show a different one, but you see, that's trying to coerce my thinking, you see. Oh, look, I can't get the videos up. They don't want me to make the video. Now, I'm actually being stopped from making this video, so I shall have to turn the whole thing off and try again. Do you see? That's interesting that has happened. Because they want me to waste the space so that I run out of space, so that I waste the space, and now I'm on the TV instead of, see, I had that all set up to go, and yet it has not come. So I'll just, any rate, maybe I'm not going to get these videos up after all. As usual, I look like an amateur, you see, because I'm not even pressing the, looks as though I've got a problem here. Yeah, I can't get it up. No, I can't get it up. See, that is so that I cannot get it up, so that's going to cause me a problem. And also it means that I will have to connect with the control matrix. This is a deliberate ploy, I have to say. But, there's not much I can do about that. So I'll have to fold this video up, I think, because I can't do this. So there you go, another game over to the matrix, because I now cannot get the YouTube up at all. And yet it was up before I pressed on this mobile. I actually watched a couple of the videos, and I thought I'll talk about and use those videos, but now it's gone off. So there is the situation, and I'm folding up.